So here we are in Estrella. So I'm kind of in a mode of repentance. I've kind of been a wild sinner. Got a little bit out of control. It's kind of like a hangover, you know. So like when I was for the past 20 years I've been antisocial, and now I'm beginning to feel a sense of conformity, or anyway, I'm feeling pressure to, you know, like, so, you know, yeah, yesterday, you know, I'm feeling guilt, I guess. Yeah, you know. Anyway, so like, that's kind of new. More shame or something, or what, I care what people think for a change. I didn't really care before, you know. Anyway, it was me and God, and if I was okay with God, it didn't matter, you know. Who's to, if you're okay with God, who cares what people think, you know? That was my attitude. And God's very forgiving, and He's seen everything, and He loves me and stuff. And well, I asked God, what do people think you care about, but you don't really? And He said, Solomon's 700 wives and 200 and 300 concubines. And so, knowing that, by the same token, a church like the Catholic Church is an institution, and it has rules that make it work, and it's possible that you can have, well, something that's viable is something that works over generations and centuries, and God's laws might be very permissive, but you can't just like mix them all up. You have to have a viable collection, you know. So like maybe the Jews can have crazy sex 1,000 years ago, in that culture it worked, but like today that's kind of like not acceptable, even though like technically God doesn't care. So here I am. Yeah, I got a little bit well, whatever. Yeah, getting a little bit, what do I got to do? The Pornhub was pretty attractive last night. Feeling a little bit out of control. You know, one of the things I'm proud of is, you know, I've the confessional or something, you know, like, fuck it, I say anything, you know. Anyway, so like, yeah, so you know, say things most people wouldn't admit to, you know, because like, that's what makes me king, you know. I don't give a fuck, in theory, you know. So like, but now, so I've been doing, you know, I really like Goodyear. I can't tell, this is a revelation, you know. It's like, holy shit, I really like this place. The only danger I have is the Arizona mental health is really, really rude. But if you can, the dog catchers, if they haul you off, they inject. I have kind of a bad history here. They used to haul me off by the police and inject me, because like I got pretty out of control and, you know, dangerous. Like one time I was kind of getting reckless in my car, and I swerved, and it's kind of manic, and I hit a traffic cone. I looked in my rear view mirror to see a motorcyclist dodge it, going, holy fuck. So I think that they were aware of me being out of control, and they took it very seriously, and they would haul me off if I didn't get my meds and stuff. So, you know, one theory is that soda, I used to drink a lot of soda. I think that might cause mental illness. Anyway, I feel pretty in control, you know. But you know that the stuff sneaks up on you, you know. All of a sudden you find yourself out of control, you know. It's hard to explain, but anyway. So the one thing I'm scared of in Arizona is the mental health, because I have a history and they will throw me in there, inject me and haul me off with nasty, those things are nasty meds. You know, like, so like I was incredibly, my dick was incredibly hard, like for hours. That's like, the meds make you impotent and shit, you know, so I'm going, holy shit, man, I'm perfectly healthy, you know, and I was joking, it takes a long time to reach the finish line. So it's like, you know, you're with one of the Pornhub girls and then another one and another one. You know, holy shit, it takes like more than one woman. I was joking about a harem or something. I think I gotta like, that's kind of, you're gonna get ostracized. They're gonna take a dim view. Anyway, so that's not funny. Like the Catholics, they're going, oh, this is where we draw the line. But anyway, so you know, in the Bible, I asked God, someone was saying that modern warfare doesn't really cause evolution because it kills more intelligent people. I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. And the BBC was saying that. So I asked God, wow, that's weird. Modern warfare kills more intelligent people. And I asked God, how did evolution happen? And he said, a man had 12 sons. So human evolution happened when they had polygamy. God said it creates social instability. Holy shit, man. This is the first time I've realized, I look around and all the women go for the big dudes, you know. I was never aware of that. I mean, I never had any girlfriends, so I was never aware, but that's kind of rude. So like, holy shit, they like the big dicks and stuff, and those are the ones they go for. I don't know, you know, maybe the Catholics aren't aware that big dicks are better. I was kind of unaware, so like, shut up, dude. You can ruin the innocence. You know, like once you go black, you never go back. So like, as long as they're not aware. No, I think they are naturally attracted to big dicks. Anyway, so like, the next question is, like, this type of, so I think I'm through with the internet women, because like, holy shit, I go to like Starbucks and there's like lots of women. It's like, I can't tell you, this is weird. I've never been, I've been isolated with no opportunities, and this is shocking. There's like incredible, like I've never seen so many women, and they're all like Goodyear women, and you know, this would be like, this is like, it sounds a lot better than like some internet celebrity who's like a whore, you know, basically a whore, Diana or Simone. It's like, dude, man, this seems a whole lot better to like pick one of these Goodyear women, you know. Next question is, which one? So like today, I don't really know, like, did they see me like with my dick hard for hours and hours last night? Because like, I don't know, like I look in the Goodyear, like, are these people aware? It's kind of trippy. It's like, who sees me? You know, I don't really know. So like, there was a strong woman. I mentioned like strong woman. I was listing like, what kind of woman would I want? I don't know. And what the heck, you know, a warrior, strong woman, I guess. Kind of big makes me wonder, because like, I guess Diana's kind of big, and like they got to have bigger dicks or something. So that's kind of harsh. You don't really want to be in a situation where you're not satisfying your woman. So I never stopped twice to think about a big woman. It never occurred to me, holy shit, you can't satisfy her, you know. Never crossed my mind. And so I've never been cautious of them or anything. You know, I think one of my sisters was a little bit tall, and I guess there's kind of a rejection of big women. I never understood the reasoning, you know. Anyway, so like, the other weird thing would be, what if you picked a small woman, you know, and then like, she's real happy, but then like your kids are going to be small, and then they're fucked, which is kind of bad. But anyway, so just something to think about. You know, I never really, you know, I kind of neglected, you know, I told you I was interested in war games and stuff, and not interested in women. So like what am I entitled to? You know what I'm saying? I 47. So like, what age is reasonable? You know, the internet women were like 26. Is that reasonable? Am I that? I don't know. You know, you pay for it, which is if you marry it's best to marry your equal, you know. But on the other hand, I don't, you know, what if there's no kids? Is it even worth it, you know? So like, anyway, so these are the questions. So a Goodyear woman. So, you know, what am I entitled to? Am I pretty handsome? My brother was so much more handsome and muscular and stuff. I'm not very muscular, and kind of never realized I was like, you know, kind of wimpy or tiny, I guess. I think I'm pretty hot. I don't know. Not, but like, it's never really worried about not having a six pack. You know, that you gotta take that shit seriously. Perhaps it never crossed my mind. Fuck no, I'm not gonna take that. Maybe you should. No, I'm not gonna exercise. But I like to walk. I have to start walking. I used to have pretty like strong legs and stuff. You know, like sexy legs. Anyway, so what are we gonna do? So go meet a Goodyear woman. So Goodyear women line up and date Mr. Terry. I think we have to like do this a little more normally. I used to like jump on the first one and like marry her or some shit. That's kind of stupid. So like, relax, take it a little slower, do it like a normal person, patience, date them and evaluate them. I never really had that concept. I mean, patience. It's like, yeah, go line up in Starbucks, date Mr. Terry. So yeah, how about that? If you're interested in dating Mr. What the fuck, man? There's a woman in there. What am I gonna do? Walk over there and talk to her? No, let's just announce it. You know, like how would I do that? There's like this woman. She's kind of sexy and strong and stuff. I couldn't see how old she was, and like, what do I do? Like, I don't even know if that's like an old man and a young woman. I'm not even sure if it's like Letcher or something. I don't know I would, you know. Anyway, so that's kind of awful, you know. If some clueless old guy like hits on a young girl, is like, get out of here, old man. I don't know. So like, yeah, just announce it. Some Goodyear woman. Yeah. God said I was stuck up. I passed up a few opportunities in my life. You know. But wow, these women were looking better than the Goodyear women I remember from high school. Anyway, there weren't a lot of white women in Goodyear. Going to that Starbucks, wow, it's not Litchfield, is it? I don't know what if it's like high school. I can't quite even tell what we're dealing with. But anyway, so Mr. Terry, what if you got a job? No, shit, it's not that unreasonable, is it? Like, I like this place, you know, and I don't. The issue is the job under my control, or the CIA gives it to me? Because that's the past. The CIA has had me as a slave, and they have picked what I've done, and they've tortured me. That's not acceptable, you know. But like, if it was that's the critical difference. Like, if it's under my terms, I'm a lot more open to it. But some bogus job where they torture me and shit, fuck you, you know. They got it in for me and shit. Like they crack the secure hash algorithm. Fuck you, man. It's busy work, fucking hellish, and they're gonna study me and like make twice as bad a police state. They want to make it twice as bad a police state. It's like treason. If I help the police state, are you kidding me? They're my fucking enemy. You know, I don't want to fucking help the police state. Fuck you. You know, that's what they want. You know, the CIA wants me to help the fucking police state. Absolutely not. I'm your enemy. I'm not going to help you. If I work for you, I'm helping you. Fuck you. Absolutely not, you know. So like, I don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, I just realized I've been trying to reach, it's the 10th of October. I think my check comes the 20th, and I have, let's say, $550. I just realized when I get a check for $1,400 and some of it's due, holy shit, now I have $1,000, and like, it's not over. In other words, like, when I reach this next check, that's just the beginning of the exact same thing all over again. So like this is it, man. In other words, this budget, I thought this budget was like temporary, like I thought I was just short of money for a little while, but this is like permanent. This is the actual budget for the rest. It's like, holy shit. But I'm gonna get a little more. My biggest problem right now is I have to pay for a meal in order to charge my batteries, like 13-14 bucks. I gotta try and find a way. I gotta find an outlet. If I found an electrical outlet, all my problems would be solved. But there's perfect justice, and so like if it hurts, then it's worth it. Maybe there's grace to be found in like pushing your limits without no. God said, don't do the budget. He told me don't do the budget. Some people have been offering to send me money. There's perfect justice. Do I do that? Then I got the crazy tax situation. I'm on disability, and there's a limit what you can get on disability. I hate paperwork, and I really have a hard time concentrating and reading this shit. But like I think I could get like $800 a month additional. But it's kind of a nightmare. I've been turning down stuff just because I don't want to file the paperwork. Anyway, so well, but like, I'm getting pretty, I don't even know how my popularity is doing. I think my rating went down. I think I've been performing poorly, but like, I'm doing miracles. Maybe it'll grow, Under some logic, doing miracles should become like international news pretty quickly, I don't know. I have no idea what's out there, who's listening. Sometimes I imagine the whole world's listening. Sometimes I just imagine, sometimes there can be a local delusion or some shit. I don't know. So life's pretty good, but so and maybe I should, oh well, let's do it. Let's talk to God. Mr. God says, oh, I gotta put my face when I read this because it's handsome. I'm trying to be like, capitalize on leadership and my assets and like, do this. Selfish desire or God's desires. The refining pot is for silver, the furnace is for gold, but the Lord tests hearts. Ask yourself 3 questions of discipleship as you think through the major decisions you have recently made during the past 6 to 8 months. Have they pleased the Lord or fed your ego? Have you begun to take your personal goals and desires before the Lord or fed your ego? Are you really willing to change those goals if, while praying about them, the Lord should lead you to do so? Discipleship refuses to let us skate through life, tossing around a few religious comments while we live as we please. It says there can be no more important relationship to you than the one you have with Jesus Christ. And it also says, when you set forth your goals and desires in life, say no to things that only stroke your ego and yes to things that will deepen your commitment to Jesus Christ. Okay, the Christ thing, how do I put this? I'm not a real firm believer in afterlife. Like, I know all about being divine, because like, when God's controlling you, you're divine, So I know an awful lot. The whole Christ focus thing is faggotry. Don't focus on Christ, focus on God. I just don't like you're pushing a relationship with Christ. Fuck that. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Fuck that. That's fucking homo shit. I focus on God. Matter of fact, I'll do a spoiler. If you read the King James, they say basically, if you read the King James, they talk about Elias. Jesus called out for Elias. Here's what happened. Jesus was out of control with women and insane sex stuff, and that's kind of what got him in trouble, right? And but he's like he's like helping people and stuff. And then like the Romans when they were crucifying him, the Romans mocked him by putting vinegar. I think that's like, I'm not an expert, but like the stanky, right? So like he's on the cross, and the King James says he cried out for Elias. I think what that means is he agreed to take an alias, and the Romans let him down, and he ran around with an alias and decided not to cause trouble. So anyway, that God said the best religion is the one with the most new vistas of understanding over a lifetime. So like, I've had a whole bunch of theories on the resurrection and stuff. 1 year it's this, 1 year it's that, and that's the beauty. You grow as a person as you develop these theories, and and it's entertaining, and that's what life's all about, you know. So I'm kind of doing a spoiler, but anyway.